Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Just busy. Just crossing things off of the to-do list and creating and doing what I do every kind of weekend, pretty much.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to stay busy though.
Always it is. I could complain, but if I did, who would really care? No, not at all. I love being busy.
Well, as you may know, we are interviewing you for July's issue of Autumn Magazine, and the theme for this month is New Paths. So the first thing that we would like to know from you is just to describe yourself using 3 words.
3 words to describe myself. I'd probably say passionate, creative, and eclectic. I'd probably say.
Nice. Those are all 3 great qualities to have.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess just kind of talk to our listeners and tell them about your role at iHeartMedia Incorporated Blaze Radio.
So 2 different things, though, like those are. So as a radio host in that part of my life, I went into college back in 2011, and the Blaze Radio 1330 KSC, that's the ASU, Arizona State University. That's my alma mater. What are the Sun Devils? I love everything about it, and that's where I got my education, and that's where I started in radio, was at the Blaze, and I was on there from pretty much the second semester of my freshman year all the way until when I graduated college, and in that time, I just learned so much, and that's why I fell in love with radio. And I never really even considered radio if it wasn't for the station director of the college station at the time. His name is Jonathan De La Rosa. He reached out to me. He came to one of my classes, and he literally pulled me aside and was like, "You should really do radio. You and I have had conversations about music during the orientation process, and I can tell you're passionate about sound, and maybe you should consider that." And because I went to college thinking I was going to be on TV, just doing TV news, even though I don't know if that was always my passion, but music was always my passion. So I never really saw myself combining my love for broadcasting and talking to people with being able to talk about music. And sure enough, there's a market for that. And so radio was that was my intro to radio. And then from there, about my end of my sophomore year, I got an internship at iHeartRadio. And I've been there ever since. So it's Clear Channel at the time. Now it's iHeartMedia. And I did the basic, rags to riches story. Started as an intern with one of the morning shows. We own 8 stations out here in Phoenix. So I started interning with the morning show for Mix 96.9 and Matthew Blades. And then I got hired on as a promo guy. So I was the energetic guy wearing, the 104.7 Kiss FM shirt, running around with the Kiss FM band, popping to the concerts and giving away free tickets and all that stuff. And that was really, really fun too. That was really, really my speed. I enjoyed it because it was, the best part about it was being able to make a kid or a family smile just from a T-shirt, just from a concert ticket, just from a money giveaway, and to you it's nothing, that's just what you do on a regular. But being able to do that for somebody else who may or may not be less fortunate, it's about that, but it's just the fact that you were there and you were spreading that positive energy and you were spreading that love. That was what I enjoyed about that. And then from there, I was there for about a year and a half, and then iHeart gave me my first full-time offer, and I am now a digital content coordinator for iHeartMedia here in Phoenix. And mainly I'm the videographer because in college, I learned a lot of video, and I've always been taking photos. Photos is my other passion outside of music, photo, video, and visual. And so I now get the opportunity to pretty much aid in creating visuals for iHeartRadio as a brand, and mainly out here in Phoenix. So I'm constantly shooting videos and doing photos for them and doing a lot of social content across social media platforms. And so I have a really cool team that I work with there, and it's really kind of cool to see the numbers that we can put up on kind of a numbers game. It's a really fun game that we play. Example, people can drive clicks to the website, things like that.
Wow, that's awesome. So you did actually do radio. You were a radio personality. Was that in college?
So, I'm still a radio personality now. So at the same time that I do work at iHeartRadio as a digital coordinator, I'm a radio host for 104.7 Kiss FM out here in Phoenix, and I do overnights every day. So it's a really cool opportunity that they've extended my way, and it's not even anything that I get paid for. It's more like, I guess it's a kind of an internship in a sense, but an overnight spot had to be filled, and they were like, Malcolm, if you're more than willing to, that you have radio experience to college, you want to get your if you want to keep sharpening your skills, how about you hop on and do overnights? And so it was very cool because I guess an unusual factor, something that's really interesting, something that I'm very proud of, and something that I'm very grateful to God for, is that I can say that I was on terrestrial radio, I was on radio while I was still in college. So as I was ending my senior year of college, I got the opportunity to start hosting on 104.7 KISS FM. And the same weekend that I premiered, I also threw my first music festival out here in Phoenix called One Love.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say you have a voice for radio.
Thank you so much. Well, it might be a little hoarse now. I was in Philadelphia last week and partying it up with the Roots. At the Roots picnic,
wow.
And so it was, so it was crazy. So I kind of lost my voice, and I've been battling, trying to get it back all week as I've been trying to get on the radio. So it's been a struggle. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're a man of many talents. I used to do radio too, so a lot of the things that you're explaining is things that I've used to experience, and I'm just like, wow, it's kind of cool to kind of talk to someone that has like some of the same experiences and done some of the things.
Sure.
So
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Excuse me. Radio's quite the monster, man. But if you can stick with it, it can be rewarding, and it is a very fun field. But I guess right now I don't know if radio is I don't know if it's the end goal. I think what I value about radio and where I am right now, it's the opportunity to curate experiences through music and curate experiences for people surrounded around arts and entertainment. And just for me, being someone who, I played saxophone from 5th grade to senior year, and everyone in my family is very musical. And my dad has the largest record collection like I've ever seen, and someone just having personally. It's like, so I just grew up around so much music and playing music and always being inspired and always working with musicians. And so whether or not, I think the extent of my musical creation right now is DJing. And that's what I really enjoy. I have a residency out here on Monday nights. It's called Voice of the Valley, and we can get into that later. But it's but what I love, and the platform of iHeartRadio is a great way to curate music and curate these artistic experiences for people. But whether it's my lot in life to be a curator of arts and entertainment, I don't know if it's going to be radio that's going to be the end goal and be like the priority platform, if you will, for how I'm going to be able to do that. But it's a blessing to be where I am right now, though.
That's fantastic. And we're going to get on goals a little bit later in this as well. But I did want to say how you said something about goals and not knowing if this is your end goal or not. The good thing about radio is that you never know where it's going to take you. It's a platform that you can meet so many different people, and the more that you stay in this type of media, you'll learn different aspects and different layers to it. So I think this is really awesome, and it's something that every day is different.
It is. Oh my God! And that's just the one thing. You think it's going to be a regular day, but by the time you get out of the office, it's this artist came through, or this happened, and this went viral, and the station went offline. I don't know. Anything could happen, and it's really interesting to see how personally you handle it, your team handles it, and then again being in media, it's you have an audience, and so seeing how you can shape and mold and curate that audience around the experiences, that's a whole nother monster, and I think that leads to the whole spontaneity and the beauty of radio in the media industry.
Exactly. Well, as you may know, like I said in the beginning, this month's issue is focused on new paths. So I would like for you to talk to us about some of the crossroads you've had to come through and go through in your life, and how you decided to which direction and which path that you will be moving into.
Sure. It's funny you said that, because I feel like, honestly, I'm always on a new path. There's always something that I'm always being inspired by something different, and I'm always willing to kind of go somewhere else. But I think before I go down any path, or even before I'm deciding, if I'm constantly walking in a path that the Lord Jesus Christ has laid for me, and I'm constantly talking to Him, and I'm seeking His wisdom in regards to where I should go and what is right for me at the time. And so it's faith that really drives my plans and my paths, because there's a funny quote from from Joey Badass. He's like this newer rapper, I guess, and a really great lyricist, so you should check him out. But anyway, he has this quote that he says, if it don't hit my spirit, I don't get near it. And that's been a mantra that's been a reoccurring, even before, I ever heard the song. It's just kind of, that's the way I've always led my life and how I've always kind of moved and operated through life. It's keeping God first, keeping my faith and my family and positive people and positive energies around me, because I think that allows you to make these decisions and go down these paths, some of which you plan and some which you don't plan. But that's what I always say, that, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. And so I think it's always been faith that's allowed me to make the decisions and go down the path that I've gone down.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, going kind of backwards, we're going to jump on some goals right now. Are there any future goals or aspirations that you have in life? And if so, would you care to kind of explain how you plan to achieve those?
Sure. So my goals are always changing. I think there's goals in you have goals that can be your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. You can have your 5-minute plan, because I think it's probably, for me, I like to eat, so it's probably going to be food after this. That's my next goal. As soon as I get off this call. But I think the aspiration, I want to aspire to a place where I can curate music, art, knowledge, entertainment experiences for people all around the world. So, I've always been a lover of music, and I'm also a passionate, photographer, videographer, and DJ. So all these tools and skills that I have, by the glory of God, they allow me to create that experience for people. And, I'm so blessed to work with a team and have supporters that share a similar passion to do that for people. It's much greater than music, but it's visual. And the way sonics and the visuals line up and come together is what sets an experience and can what really tell a story. And I think that's what it's about. I say music, art, knowledge, and entertainment, and it's more of an acronym that is really the driving force behind my business. I have a LLC out here in Phoenix that I co-own and I co-found with my creative director, stylist, partner, confidant. She's like everything. Her name's Katrina Elise, and we put together this LLC called Make Creative. So it's an acronym for music, art, knowledge, and entertainment, but it kind of came together because it's also our names. And so the M, the A, that's Malcolm Alexander. The K and the E is Katrina Elise. And, I think music, it has the power to influence the masses. And I'm not exactly bilingual outside of English, but I've always thought of being bilingual because of music. You can go somewhere, you can play a record in Japan or in Korea or in Europe, and music is what transcends prejudice. It's what transcends adversity. And music is love, and that's what I'm in the business of spreading and creating and curating for people.
I love that. Musically bilingual. I like that. That's different. I've never heard.
Yeah, like in a sense, I've yet to really be able to travel the world, but I would like to think that when the time is right, I'll be lucky enough to be able to travel to other countries and other nations and be around other people. And if I'm blessed enough to be able to, to bring my DJ equipment and bring my photography, my cameras and my team, it's being able to tell stories and being able to touch people. And it really is being able to spread passion and inspire others to have passion. That's what it's about. It's about making people feel something that maybe they've never felt before. It's making people, want to love themselves in a new way and love others in a new way. And it all comes back to music, and I think that's why, I'm lucky enough to be on a platform as a radio host and where I am in the digital space as well as a digital creator and coordinator. So with Make, it's really cool because it's Make Creatives, and that's what it's about. It's about making these stories. It's about making these experiences. It's about making and creating with the sole purpose of telling stories and inspiring others and spreading love as the sole goal and the sole message.
Right. Wow, yeah, that's awesome. And it's kind of like you have the best of both worlds in this situation too.
Yeah, in a huge sense, I really do, and it can spread you fairly thin sometimes, but it's one of those things that if I didn't love it, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to love, and it takes a special person to stay in it. So
yeah, very true.
So, Malcolm, talk to us about what some advice you would give to our listeners that may be experiencing some new and unexpected challenges in their life.
Sure. Keep faith first and trust, and whether or not you are a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist. Quite frankly, I am spiritual, and I have a relationship with God, and so for me, it's like my version of God can come in a whole different manifestation for you. And whatever your faith is, that's what truly matters. It's not about religion. It's not about, I don't want to see religion be weaponized when spirituality and faith is the goal. And so I think the biggest advice that I can offer to anybody, young, old, is have faith and have passion. And the one place that you're going to find that, and because people will say, well, man, I don't know what I want to do, and you're so lucky because you know what you want to do, and all this, and quite frankly, again, it's a daily thing. I wake up with new goals every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't know what you want to do, you have to look into yourself. You have to look into yourself to find that faith. And again, faith is trusting and believing in what you can't see.
Exactly.
And so being able to love yourself enough and being able to trust in yourself, and then at the same time be able to take that trust and throw it up to the sky and say, universe, do whatever you want with it. Having the courage and having the willingness to do that is what will grow your faith and will allow you to look deeper in yourself and maybe find that passion, find what you love. If you love to draw. If you love to work with kids, work with kids. If you love to take photos, take photos. And if you love to do videos, do videos. Because a DJ. And if you love to do all of that, then God willing, keep working at it. And because, for me, it's like I have my hands dipped in so many different things, but I can't help it because not only am I lucky enough to be good at what I do, but I am equally as passionate about everything that I do.
That's great.
And so I want to urge, and I want people to feel inspired. And if I can touch anyone, just one person, and inspire them to not just love themselves, but look into themselves and find what they love. It could be something. I like farming. I don't care if it's, I've always had a passion about computers. Then whether you go to school or not, be the best darn computer programmer you can ever be. I want to style. I want to design. Then design and seek those opportunities and network and meet those people and surround yourself with those people that are going to bring that positive energy into your life to better help you create and live in the space that you want to live in.
That's true. I think a lot of times people chase the money more so than chasing the dream. And in the same time, when you're chasing the money, you may end up doing something that you're not happy at doing, and you don't know when your last day is. So you're supposed to do whatever that makes you happy.
And that's the point. And I think that's why, I do, there's a huge dichotomy. There's a huge paradigm in my life of working for someone else and working for myself. The corporate America is great and the machine is great, but what good is it if your soul's not fed every day? What good is it if you're not feeling like you're touching the people that you want to touch? And that's always been my biggest thing. And I think that's what always has driven my entrepreneurial mindset. And I've been very entrepreneurial and very enterprising from a very, very, very young age. I've always wanted to work for myself, and I've always wanted to have a platform through which I can inspire others and can help others to be the best them that they can be.
Right. So everybody listen to Malcolm and do what makes you happy.
Yes,
right.
please.
All right. Now, I know when I asked you earlier, we kind of talked about Joey Badass, I believe you said, and how there's a quote that you had quoted. Now, I'm asking you now, do you have a favorite quote or scripture that you live by? I know you mentioned him before, but is there something else?
Yeah. Okay. So, man, and it's so funny. I love when people ask if I have quotes, man, because I got quotes on quotes for days. But if I could pick one, and it's one that has really stuck with me for quite some time. And again, I have tons of quotes, and if you ask for 3 quotes, I can give you 3 quotes. But one quote that definitely and consistently has always inspired, excuse me, has always inspired me, and I think I constantly, regurgitate this quote to others, it's a quote from Will Smith, of all people, and he said, being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since hearing that, like, it struck a chord with me, because especially young people, and even more so people that are older, they're constantly told to be realistic. This job isn't going to give you the money that you need, to support yourself and support your family, or, to get you the money that you need to do what you want to do. You need to be realistic and get a real job. You need to be realistic and think about your future, think about this, think about that. And that's very distracting from, it blinds your soul. It doesn't allow you to think in the best way that is for you. And I think that's, and when you said mediocrity, and that's exactly why, it's very distracting to, quote unquote, live up and always think about this social standard of realism and being realistic. And so that quote is profound to me.
Okay. Now, we are coming to the end of the interview. I guess one of my last questions for you is there anything that you would like to share with our listeners that maybe we didn't cover that you have heavy on your heart that you want to talk about?
Wow, definitely. Support local entrepreneurs, and support young creatives, and support the youth. I think a huge driving force behind what I do is that I do not feel that my narrative has been told yet, in any sense, in Hollywood, in society, and the young Black man and the young minority, period, whether Hispanic, whether Asian, whether white, it's lost in the shuffle because people have these standards of how everyone should act and operate. And like when you look to Hollywood, it's you have, if you want to make it, or if it wants to sell at the box office, you have to have the hood to Hollywood story. It's like I was raised by a single mom in the hood, and then I was able to, counteract all that adversity, and now I'm a millionaire and doing all this, and that's not always the case, and we all aren't the same, and so I think the fact that my narrative has been told, I want to inspire others who are lost in the shuffle to come out, express themselves, be who you want to be, and I think that's going to be the best way of how I think we can come together as a nation, as a world, and better help each other.
Wow, that was amazing. And I know there's people out there that are listening to this, and they're agreeing, and then, there's some people that may have been lost, and now they listen to this, and they're, finding some direction, or may even shed some light on some things that they're working on or going through. So I think that's awesome. Okay.
Sure.
Now,
and yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, just to that, because, and I hope it does just put a little bit of light, because to be honest, it's like I'm 22 years old and I don't have all the answers, and it's a constant process for me. I'm always having to double back and check myself and look into myself. And for me, look to God, look to the universe for the answers. So if I could just tell people that, it is a process, and that no matter who you are, Jay-Z is still going through that process. Like Ellen DeGeneres, your Kanye's, whatever, the biggest people of all time that you can think of. It's like you're constantly having to look to yourself. It's a constant process of self-love and self-realization and self-actualization. So just always know that, and don't be so hard on yourself.
Okay. Now, this is a kind of a different question, and I'm sensing a lot of unique styles to you. Is there anyone that you look up to or someone that's well known? Because I'm picking up someone from talking to you. So I want to see if there's like someone that you kind of inspires you, but maybe an artist or whoever.
Ooh, wow. Well, like obviously Beyonce. Obviously, you know, I think I consider the fact that when I wake up every day, I have 24 hours in a day, just like Beyonce does.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no reason I can't slay 365 days a year. No, really do. I'm a huge Beyonce fan. I do love Beyonce. I love the platform that she is on, especially for young women. But and you're saying like a young artist that, or an artist maybe that that maybe like inspires me very much.
Yes, or anyone that's like kind of like a public figure, because and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, because who I'm thinking of when you're saying people, when you were talking about people that come from or how Hollywood dictates people, or you having a camera, what I'm visualizing in my head is Spike Lee. So
Spike Lee, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, I all love this Spike. I love Spike, and I'm definitely a fan of a lot of his movies, man. Because I think Do the Right Thing and Radio Raheem is like I want to recreate.
The music.
Oh man, yeah, no, I love it. No, you know what's funny? I think the biggest piece of, you know, I'll give you two things. I want to bring back A Different World. That is, I think, one of the greatest shows in television history, and it kind of spoke to the fact that it's like not all the kids at Hillman came from the hood or came from that circumstance. They, you know, like there were black kids who like had loving parents, you know, and that didn't want to be rappers or politicians. They wanted to be doctors, you know, and video game designers like Dwayne, and doctors. And I always thought that was really, really cool. A Different World is very inspiring to me, and I would love to get Debbie Allen on the phone and just say, how can we modernize this idea of young black excellence and breaking the mold of the stereotype that I think Hollywood and media portrays. But a lot of what I see, and I think a lot of what inspires me to keep being different and just embracing who I am and being able to say, heck, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do a DJ mix today, but I'm going to go do a photo shoot with Katrina, and she's going to style it hour later, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to design another flyer. It's people like Donald Glover. And by his rap name, he goes by Childish Gambino. And he's somebody, he's from Stone Mountain, like Atlanta, but he's moved around and all that stuff. But he's so multifaceted. And I think it's that kind of thing that inspires me. And in his music, he really tells my story a lot as like, you know, not being from the hood. He's like from the suburbs, and he never felt like there was a platform for black nerds, and there's this whole undercurrent of, you know, Afro punk and progressive young minorities, period, not just black people, that our voices haven't been heard yet. And right. So he definitely inspires me, and I think I parallel myself, and I inspire and aspire, to a level to be as multifaceted and be good in everything. You know, he's a writer, a comedian, a rapper, a singer, a producer, a director, he does it all, and he's so good at each thing that he does. You know, some of the Kanye where it's like, you know, he's just as well versed in fashion as he is in music and production and design, and I love that there shouldn't be a limit put on what you want to do creatively. Right. Exactly. Well said. Well said. All right. Thank you. Malcolm, that completes our interview. And on behalf of Autumn Magazine, we just want to thank you for allowing us again into your life for a moment to learn a little bit more about you. And thank you very much for the opportunity. Of course.